Greetings, programs. This is Wretch. Welcome back to Citizen Sleeper 2 Starward Vector. And in the last episode, guys, we learned that you can't stop the signal as we were able to get Aphelion free radio back on the air. And then we started to look for the Aphelion beacon for Yu-Jin. Now, over the course of this, we've started to see a more direct, even dark side of Yu-Jin's personality. And I'm very curious to see what's going to happen as we get closer and closer to finding this thing. Are we going to see his real motivation? Is it just an obsession to get out of the system? I guess we'll find out sooner rather than later, because we are making our way through this field to try and track it down along with Junie, and we are not the only people interested in finding this. So let's go on to the next step here. This beacon contains the coordinates for the next beacon on the trail. You just need to extract them. Now we've got interface and intuition, so pretty much more of the same. So let's go ahead and... we've got nothing really that Yu-Jin can do, that's a shame. But Junie's up to the task. Let's go. Kind of same thing in quarters. Corrupted data seems to be hiding some coordinates. This has to be it. Now, I've already pushed this turn, unfortunately, so... And that's pretty much all that we can do. Let's go ahead and end the cycle. I don't want to put any risk, because like I said, I'm expecting as soon as we find this thing or get close to it to be competing with another crew. And I do not want that to be the case. However, maybe it would be good... we can always make some supplies when we start running low. If we have some high dice to spare. Ew. Not ideal. You guys are letting me down with these dice. You have the vector for the next beacon. Time to follow the trail. We're in. Yu-Jin nods at the data port. Deep inside the body of the beacon, he peers through his suit's faceplate at it. You have part of the plating removed, and you're pretty sure you have access to the coordinates you need. All that's left is to slot a drive. I've got this. Yu-Jin takes out a thumbnail drive and slots it. Easy as can be. A smile flickers across his face. You peer into the beacon. It's been a delicate job getting the security access and the system knowledge to find the coordinates for the next step. It all seems to have passed without incident. Got it. Yu-Jin pulls the drive and thumps you on the shoulder. Let's head to the next one. Look alive down there. Seraphin's voice comes over the comms. Got a ship on approach. We need to make ourselves scarce. You and Yu-Jin exchange looks. The Singers. You kick off and glide toward the ship, but Yu-Jin goes in the other direction. You wonder what he's doing for a second, and then you see it. He arrives at the beacon and immediately begins laying into its metal shell. He pulls a tool from his suit's belt and caves in the beacon with an anger that chills you. When he's done, the beacon's just another chunk of debris. He joins you in the cockpit. Seraphin gives you a look, but doesn't say a word. He just silently taps in the new coordinates. You look across at Yu-Jin, his expression fixed and his eyes cold. Then Seraphin fires up the drive. Ooh. A shrill bleep wakes you from your stargazing. What was that? Seraphin looks around the cockpit as warning lights and sirens sound all over the ship. The terminal screens flicker, some of them not coming back on. You hear a groan from somewhere deep in the ship. Some kind of pulse. An energy weapon? Seraphin slaps the side of his flickering terminal until it stabilizes. On it, you see a red dot moving further away from the center of a circle. A ship's accelerating away. Seraphin taps at his console, bringing up the transponder information. He turns to Yu-Jin with a hard stare. It's Vesna. Yu-Jin shakes his head. Got it in one. Seraphon grits his teeth. The limb hound, registered in the far spindle. He slams his fist on the keyboard. How did she find us? How? Because Yu-Jin is a sloppy operator, that's how. Seraphon shakes his head and starts working on the drive system. Now, we're stranded. She knocked out our drive. Must have been waiting for us. We'll need to get activated as quickly as we can. Yu-Jin is up from his seat, peering out of the window at the large rock floating just outside. The beacon has to be there. Vesna cracked it and then waited for us to catch up. She was trying to dissuade us. Well, she's done a pretty good job. Seraphon scrolls through layers of drive diagnostics. Give up now? Yu-Jin glances at you. We're so close. It's true, we don't want to do all this for nothing. But Vesna's ahead. The race isn't over yet. Yu-Jin meets your eye. She still has to find and extract the drive, not to mention the singers. We decrypt the beacon and fix the drive. No distractions. Yu-Jin kicks off and glides out of the cockpit toward the airlock. I knew this was going to get complicated. But we have to keep the find at an end of this trail in mind. To let it fall into incurious hands? She shakes her head. We need to be the ones to claim it. Look. Seraphon turns in his seat. We're in this now. No way back. Only forward. But the moment this goes south, and it will, I'll pull you out and we are leaving, whether Yu-Jin wants to back out or not. Seraphon meets your eye. He's serious. We can handle it. Or no. I understand. Seraphon nods, saying nothing. Seraphon turns back to his console. This, as far as he's concerned, is your problem to fix. I mean, he's not wrong, necessarily. Okay, we got the beacon here. We've got the disabled drive. This is where we come in. Neat. Okay, we'll be able to get that done quickly. Final vector. The final vector is contained in this beacon. The last hurdle before you reach the faction drive. Oh, and it's in engineering. Cool. So we should be able to do this with a minimum of fuss. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to actually waste... We're going to go ahead and waste our single die here. Just get some energy. Not that we need it for the job. That way, when I push, I'll get this die up to 4, and I'll have a full dice to use, or a full 6 to use for these repairs. Won't be getting far with a disabled drive. Time to get it started again, however you can. The drive bypass is progressing, but will be fast enough to catch up. Fingers crossed. Okay, if there's a little bit of stress, no worries. A little bit of stress, still no worries. And then we push. 6. Okay, good deal. Good deal. Now, let's see if we can get further on this for the final vector. We've got Junie with interface. Let's go. Okay, that's kind of the standard. That's okay. And then Yu-Jin, there's really nothing for you to... Well, I mean, yeah, you can do the forced startup with endurance. I take that back. He does have that to his credit. And I don't think he'll be able to do much else, so let's go ahead and just use all of his dice. If he stresses out, it's okay. He's got life to bear. Stamina for days. few of the monitoring systems are fried, forcing them to activate take a lot of effort. Is he just banging on the machinery until it starts? Turning it off and on again? The fault seems to be mostly in containment. Perhaps it could be totally bypassed? Maybe, but we don't have the dice for it. Go ahead and call it a day. Okay, we still have 2 supplies. I'm not going to worry about that yet. We are going to go ahead and fix the ship. Well, actually, let's use a low dice for this. Yep. Whoops. Oh, that's unfortunate. So I'm going to have to use my push early. Good, good, good. The rig's drive is running once more. No time to lose. Okay, do you need to decrypt that signal? Corrupted data seems to be hiding some coordinates. This has to be it. And then the same thing with us. Bypassing security systems by rewiring around them is surprisingly effective. Let that be a lesson to you folks. You have the vector for the final beacon. Time to end this. Seraphin punches the final set of coordinates into his console and runs a fresh set of diagnostic on the rig's drive. Everything comes up green. The atmosphere in the cockpit is tense. None of you know what you might be flying into. Yu-Jin's jaw is set, his eyes on the stars and scattered rocks, his goal in reach. It's not a goal to be underestimated, a fraction drive, one that can take any ship out of the system and beyond, one that can forge a path through the surrogate systems few can take. Freedom, both from this system's politics and the structures of power that dominate the passage of people through colonized space. The problem with such a lofty ambition is that it's infectious, seductive. It is desirable enough to draw people out, bring them to their absolute limit. And you've seen that in Yu-Jin. The singers, too, are shaped by that desire. And Vesna, the steely-eyed captain you don't seem to be able to shake. The question is, who will flinch first? Well, this is a full-on chase, isn't it? Here you are, moored around a remote and airless rock. A scattering of debris concealing an object of great value, in a system spiraling into war. We're the last here. Seraphin shuts down the drive. But at least no one started shooting. Vesna would only kill as a last resort. Yu-Jin looks out at the rock. The singers I'm less sure about. Reassuring. Seraphin deadpans. So, what now? We walk out there and start digging? What do you think, Yu-Jin? You turn to face Yu-Jin, but he's already gone. You get after him. Seraphin shakes his head. I'm going to keep the rig warm. I get the feeling we're going to be needing it. As you glide out of the cockpit, you hear the airlock cycling. Yu-Jin is already out. You speed up, grabbing his suit and wrestling it on as you head for the airlock. The door hisses open to reveal a sparse landscape. The twisted parts of a facility or ship, corroded beyond recognition, jut up out of the dusty rock. Squinting into the faint and distant sun, you can make out 2 figures in suits, standing a fair distance apart in the middle of the loose circle of debris. You glide down toward them, specks of loose gravel and decaying metal bouncing off your suit as you do. Now. A voice crackles through your comms as you approach, broadcast over the open channel. None of us want to die out here. You see them now, the 2 figures, Vesna and the leader of the singers, Peter, facing each other across the dusty plain. Vesna's arm jutting out of her body, her hand resting on an object at her hip. A weapon. Keep your distance, Sleeper. Her eyes flick over to you as you approach. This godforsaken rock is crowded enough as it is. We set foot here first. The claim is ours by anyone's judgment. Peter speaks calmly and slowly, his arms at his hips and his palms upturned. And I suspect we are also the best equipped to find the fraction drive and put it to use. Anyone's judgment? Who do you see out here to validate your claim? She gestures at the rock-strewn void with one hand, her other firmly on the grip of her handgun. The Sleeper is our witness here. Peter turns slowly to you. I'm sure they will verify our claim. I didn't see who was first. Vesna laughs. Well, at least someone here still has some integrity. You look between the two of them, searching their faces for an intent, an opening, anything. Vesna's ocular implants give nothing away, but the visible tension in her gun arm suggests failing patience. Peter, meanwhile, projects an atmosphere of considered calm, but there's violence behind that benign smile, and a crew of singers somewhere out there in the dark. Peter, tell your crew to stand down. Be very careful what you say next. Peter eyes you with anger and fear. You see a flash of panic in Vesna's eyes as she realizes she might be surrounded already. Her arm tenses. The shot is silent, its direction unclear, but its effect is immediate. The side of Vesna's suit explodes in a geyser of escaping oxygen. She spins, clutching at the wound to clamp it closed. As she does, you see the shot grazed her, splitting the suit but leaving her body beneath intact. Might want to run and get that fixed, Vesna. Yu-Jin slips out from the shadow of a piece of debris at the edge of the circle. He holds a long gun at his hip. What are you doing? Claiming what's mine. Yu-Jin's eyes are fixed on Peter as he moves slowly closer. You son of a bitch! Vesna's doubled over, unable to take her hands away from the hole in her suit without risking immediate depressurization. Yu-Jin draws alongside you, his eyes still on Peter. Time to turn yourself around, get in that ship of yours, and go back to wherever the hell you crawled out from. You glance at Vesna. There's a spout of oxygen spewing out from her suit, leaking between her fingers. She doesn't have long. We can't abandon this claim. Peter shows his open palms. For the singers to survive, we must leave this system behind. There's no way for us to support ourselves here. Our moon is gone, eaten up by the war. The belt will be next. You may as well shoot me here if you're not going to let me take that drive. This is my people's future. Well, Yu-Jin shifts his shoulders. If you insist. Sleeper, we have incoming. A lot of incoming. You glance at Yu-Jin. He's hearing the message too. A whole load of Conway ships are approaching this location. Conway? What are they doing here? I'm not about to radio to ask them. Seraphine's voice distorts, but it's not hard to imagine the news of this fraction drive has reached further than anyone wanted. You look across at Peter and see his lips moving, but hear nothing. He's talking to his crew. A moment later, you hear a click as he switches back to an open channel. If you heard what I just heard, then you know we are out of time. Peter looks deadly serious now, his face of diplomatic calm having fallen away. We singers are the only crew who can pull the fraction drive out before Conway arrives. There are more of us, and we have the experience. Let us take it. Don't let it fall into the hands of this system's biggest enemy. Sleeper, Seraphine hisses over the comms. Get back to the rig. No! Yu-Jin cuts in. You aren't sure if he's responding to Seraphine, Peter, or both. The drive is ours. I've worked too hard and come too far to let it go now. He raises the long gun to his shoulder. You're all insane. Vesna spits out the words, her voice strained and hoarse. I'll leave you to your graves. She kicks off from the rock, arcing toward the crimson shape of the Limhound. Yu-Jin doesn't even watch her go. You see something flaring in his eyes. A dark drive with no other resolution. Talk him down? Oh man. Oh, what do we do? There's so many ways this could go bad. Back down, Peter. I wish I could talk him down. It's a 50% neutral, 50% negative. Would I do that though? I would try to talk him down. Okay, this is going to be a shot in the dark. This is probably a horrible idea, but we're going to at least try. We got a 50-50 chance of this going very badly, or this at least going a neutral route, which hopefully is the story in the good direction. I don't necessarily want to lose Yu-Jin. He's just got dragon sickness. Let's see what happens. Man. As you try to reason with him, stumbling through your words, Yu-Jin takes his eyes off Peter and turns to you. He shakes his head. I can't walk away from this. Not now. Idiots. Peter sighs and clicks out of the open channel. The shot hits Yu-Jin in the shoulder, spinning him back across the circle of scrap. You feel the spatter of debris as another shot zips past you silently, only an inch or two wide. As you turn away from Peter, you see glints of light on the otherwise dark shapes near the horizon. The matte black suits of armed singers, hiding in plain sight against the darkness of space. They are everywhere. You glide away from the incoming fire, Yu-Jin spinning ahead of you, the gush of oxygen from his split suit sending him on a wild and dangerous arc. Okay, at least this is better. Sorry for that shoulder wound, buddy. You kind of deserve it, though. You grab desperately, hooking your hand around his flailing arm. The suit's outgassing spins the both of you now, but you manage to reel him in and clamp your hands over the hole. You aim the both of you toward the airlock as another volley of shots splatters you with chunks of rock and metal. You're exposed, crossing the empty space between rock and ship, but you're far from the singers now, and no more shots arrive. Both you and Yu-Jin glide through the open airlock, slamming hard into the interior door. In moments, it's cycled, and you pull off your suits to check for wounds. A few orbs of blood break gently in the ship's interior walls, but Yu-Jin pushes you away as you try to tend to the gash on his shoulder. His face is fixed in a grimace of pain and frustration. You both glide up to the cockpit to find Seraphins rapidly starting the drive. His console screen is filled with red pulses, the signatures of Conway drone ships bearing down on this lonely rock. He glances up as you enter the cockpit, but says nothing. You're thankful for that, at least. This is no time for glib remarks. You take one last look at the Aphelion Path's final resting place, now cloaked in clouds of fresh dust. You think of the singers down there, no doubt already wrenching the fraction drive from its hiding place and onto their ship. Conway is their problem now. And then the drive kicks in, and you leave the singers to their fate. Full burn. The ship is quiet as you dock with the Hollow, no one eager to speak about what happened out there, in the shoals. Even Seraphin's silent, tapping away at an engine shutdown with comfortingly routine motions. Yu-Jin has bandaged his shoulder now, a sleeve compressing the wound beneath his clothes. He looks drained and pale, but otherwise, you wouldn't be able to tell he'd been hurt at all. You know it'll take him some time to come back from this, to extract himself from the hold that fraction drive, that dream held over him. You wonder if he ever will, or if the freedom that object represented to him will haunt him for the remains of his life. You know at least that now is not the time to try to discuss it, to lay out exactly what happened out there. Yu-Jin will retreat, of course, hiding beneath the glib personality you've come to recognize as his shield. But perhaps as the cycles pass, he'll find himself changed. Perhaps not. Either way, there's much to be done, and this thankless adventure has derailed you enough. Time to get back to work. The good, the bad, and the Yu-Jin find the fraction drive without losing Yu-Jin. Oh, so we could have just completely lost him to his dragon fever, huh? Well, find Yu-Jin's contact. So that drive hasn't gone away. But the only thing that we currently have right now is to travel to Olivera, so maybe that'll give us a little bit more to play around with that. Well, let's go ahead and fill the fuel up then. And get our supplies and everything situated. Still have over 200 cryo. Awesome. Feed our cat. Do a little bit of farming, and we'll, I guess, travel over to our next location. It's been a bit since we've fed the feline. There you go, buddy. Now then. Supplies. And any way here that we can actually just make some money with our good dice? Yes, that'll work. Interpret the signals. For 13 cryo. Not too shabby at all. And our interface. Alright. Now. We go to the belt. All roads now lead to Olivera. Because we don't have anywhere else to go that we have not caused enough trouble. So, let's see what happens here. Concealed colony. You find Olivera exactly where Ankita said it would be. A ragged colony, nestled in a crater on one of the biggest rocks of the shoals. Seraphon gets no response to his initial broadcasts, and so you find yourself in a docking tunnel, the rig at one end, the colony at the other, with no idea what awaits you. I need you to get back on that ship and keep flying. You freeze in the dark tunnel, a figure in front of you, holding a long gun at their hip. I'm serious. Your eyes adjust to the... Oh, excuse me one sec, guys. I gotta clear my throat. Oh, sorry about that. Your eyes adjust to the dark, and as they do, you see a man. No, a boy, carrying a long, dark shape in his hands. I don't know how you found us, but you need to leave right now and forget this place. You glance over your shoulder and see Seraphon, his hands raised in front of him in a gesture of calm. Look, kid, we mean no harm. How about you go run and get someone? I am someone. I'm Xander. He sticks out his jaw. It's you I don't know, and I'll decide who's going to do some harm here. He reaches across his chest and thumbs on a lamp he has lashed there. You blink in the glare of a bright light, shielding your eyes, and as you do, you see a flicker of confusion crossing Xander's face. He meets your eye with a look of shock and opens his mouth as if to speak, though no words emerge. We have something for Carmen. You notice the familiar name register with Xander, adding to whatever confusion or question your appearance has provoked. You see his eyes taking in your sleeper body, his gun dropping a little as he takes his attention off of it. Is this... He looks between you and Seraphon. Are you here for Flint? He pulls the gun closer to himself. Look, I'll be honest, kid. We have no idea who you're talking about. Seraphon allows himself to drift a little forward. So how about you drop the gun, and we can talk like adults. As Seraphon floats past you, he gives you a look that makes you nervous. Let's all stay calm. Xander, the voice echoes along the docking bridge. Xander, what are you doing? A figure appears at the end of the bridge behind Xander. A young woman clearly older than the boy in front of you. Found these two trying to sneak in, Cadence. Xander keeps his eyes on you, and Seraphon as he speaks. Saboteurs, maybe? Was about to send them on their way. Xander grins. I assure you, we are not Saboteurs miss. Seraphon smiles at Cadence. Cadence sighs and glides towards Xander. Stop messing around with that welder. She snatches the gun out of Xander's hands, and as she does, both you and Seraphon reflexively flinch. Cadence looks at the two of you with a raised eyebrow and turns the gun so you can see it better. You notice the fuel tank and welding muzzle. It probably has an effective range of less than half a foot. Seraphon looks at Xander and rolls his eyes. Seriously? Cadence lowers the welder to her side and turns to Xander. Now's not the time. We just got an emergency broadcast from Carmen and Flint. Something's happened. Xander's attitude changes immediately. He turns to face Cadence, putting his back to you, as if you just disappeared completely. What do you mean, something's happened? I don't know. They all went quiet in the shoals. All we got was a distress signal. Cadence raises her hands reassuredly. Don't get excited. They probably just had a technical fault on the ship, but we should check in anyway. We have to get him. Xander grabs the welder back and slings it over his shoulder. In what, Xander? Cadence sighs. They took our only functioning ship. The Tentatide's still in pieces in the hangar. Seraphon gives you a nudge and nods toward Cadence and Xander. This is your chance. We have a ship? Xander wheels around in the tunnel, squinting at you in thought. Seraphon moves past you, approaching them. We need to see Carmen, and it seems like Carmen needs our help. He looks between the two of them. So how about we stop messing around in this dingy tunnel and go get your friend? Xander turns back to Cadence. Them? Really? He rolls his eyes. We're not the only people on Olivera. There must be other ships. You want to go looking? They're here now. Cadence looks at Seraphon. And they're generously offering to help. And she smiles sheepishly. Fine. Xander folds his arms. But I'm coming with you. Fine by us. Seraphon shakes his head and looks at you. Come on then. You both turn and head back into the ship, Seraphon whispering as you do. What kind of backwater has Ankita sent us to? The kid thinks he's some kind of sheriff. Not used to visitors, I guess. Tucked away in the shoals like this? I'm not surprised. What are they doing out here? What are we talking about? Xander catches up with you and Seraphon. His mood seems buoyed by the prospect of boarding a ship. You wonder how often he gets to leave Olivera. You. Seraphon snickers. Xander looks genuinely hurt for a second. Wait up! You turn back to see Cadence gliding up the tunnel. I changed my mind. I'm coming too. Give me a minute to grab some supplies. He glances at Xander. Just in case. Seraphon cuts in. I'll give you a hand. That all right, Sleeper? We'll be there in a sec. He looks at you. You pause, but Seraphon doesn't seem to be waiting for confirmation as he and Cadence head back into the dock. You're slightly thrown off by his eagerness to be helpful. This is the first time you've actually seen him be welcoming to anyone coming on board the rig. When you get to the cockpit, you notice Xander looking wide-eyed at the consoles and switches. Cool ship, he grins. After a short wait, Cadence and Seraphon come back into the cockpit. All loaded up. Seraphon pats Xander on the shoulder. Oh, sorry, that was Seraphon saying that. All loaded up. You might want to strap in there, kid. Xander and Cadence find a place to settle as Seraphon buckles himself into the flight seat. All right, he turns to Xander. Show us where to go. Oh, and we are off. And to another asteroid with a very wrecked ship. And I think this is a perfect place to go ahead and call it an episode, guys. We will see what happens with our new friends, hopefully, sooner rather than later. But if you guys like the episode, please leave a like down below. Subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, that'd be a big help. And we'll see you next time. Later days, everyone.